Financial Aid student. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending the Study Abroad Financial Aid session. First, before we get started with the presentation, I just want to ask if everyone can enter their questions in the Q&A, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the presentation. Now I'm going to introduce you to Jan Hasten. He's from the Financial Aid Office. You can start, Jan. Jan, we can't, no one can hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so yeah, basically we're going to start with those students that who can apply for UCLA study abroad, and it's for graduate students. The entering and continuing UCLA students can participate in the UCLA study abroad programs, but for the UCEAP programs, those programs, you have to be a continuing student to be eligible for that. For grad students, they can only participate in study abroad programs if it's required to complete their graduate degree. The UCEAP program and the UCLA study abroad programs are the only programs that UCLA Financial Aid Office will provide financial aid to. If you're trying to do a study abroad in some other program other than the UCEAP program or the UCLA study abroad program, you will not be eligible for financial aid through the UCLA Financial Aid Office. Okay, 1 second. Okay, in order to apply for financial aid, you have to either do the free application for federal student aid, and it's located at fafsa.ed.gov, and it becomes available for the, it's okay, when you're applying for financial aid, you're not applying for the academic year, for the calendar year, you're applying for an academic year. So the current academic year it starts in July, and so it's July 2021 through June 2022. So the current FAFSA is for the 21-22 academic year. The FAFSA for the next year, which is the FAFSA for the 2022-2023 academic year, that became available October 1st. And it's always October 1st. That's when the application becomes available for the next year. And again, the academic year is from July 1st through June 30. So you can complete the free application for federal student aid. That's for students eligible for federal aid. And for DREAM students, they can complete the California DREAM Act application. And that again opens October the 1st. Now, to be considered on time, and this is very, very important, March 2nd is the deadline. If you file this application, either of these applications, after March the 2nd, the only aid you will be eligible for is federal aid. You won't be eligible for state aid, and you also will not be eligible for university-based aid. So it's very, very important that you get the FAFSA done before. In fact, forget that I said March the 2nd. Go ahead and do the application now. Try to get it done within this year. Don't wait until January or February to do the application. If you have not already done it, try to get it done by December. That way you'll be on time, and that way you're not losing out on the possibility of state aid or university-based aid. Now, and as I was saying, submit the 2022, 2023 FAFSA or DREAM Act by March the 2nd, 2022. And I'm repeating this because I can't stress it enough. It's an important deadline. Students who, as I said, if you submit it late, you will not be considered for institutional aid or state aid. Now, for those students that are interested in the UCLA Summer Travel or Global Internships Program, in addition to doing the FAFSA, there's also a UCLA Summer Financial Aid application. Now, that application won't be available until March the 1st. And the deadline, and that's going to close April the 1st of 2022. So for UCEAP programs, you only need to worry about getting the FAFSA done by March the 2nd. But again, for the UCLA summer travel programs or the UCLA Global Internships programs, in addition to doing the FAFSA or the DREAM application, you also have to do a UCLA Financial Aid Summer application. And you'll find that application, you'll go into My UCLA, and then under the Finance and Jobs tab, you'll click on that, and then you'll click on Financial Aid, and then you'll see Summer Financial Aid Applications. And then, well, I'll come back to this that's here in the yellow, but I want to, when you log into My UCLA and then get to the Summer Financial Aid Applications, this is where you'll be. You'll see, come to this page, and you'll see whether UCLA Summer Travel or Global Internships Program. You'll click here where it says Please Apply, and that will take you into the application, and you'll pick out whatever the particular program it is that you want to apply to. You'll click on that and proceed from there. But again, in order for those, again, you don't need to do this because, as you can see, there's no tab here for UCAP. This is only the Summer Financial Aid application for the UCLA Summer Travel Program and the UCLA Global Internships Program. And this was from this year, but next year it'll say March 1st, 2022, and it will say April 1st, 2022. Now I'm going to go back to the previous screen because this is important. You can only get financial aid for one program per term. During the summer, UCLA has summer sessions going on. They have, there's a Summer Institute program. There's also the EAP program UCEAP program going on during the summer. And there's also the travel study and then the global internships programs going on. But you can only get financial aid for one of those programs during the summer. So an example of what you will not be able to get is, let's say you participate in the travel study, summer travel study program in session A. You get back in time to take classes through summer sessions in session C. We're only going to give you financial aid for one of the programs, and most times it's for the summer travel program in session A. So you will not get money to cover your fees for session C. Now, there is a problem, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's important for you to note that you're only going to get financial aid to cover one program. So, and that's not a UCLA policy. That's by federal law. You can only receive aid to cover one program per term. Now, once you do that summer application, then you'll get a confirmation email. And it'll look kind of sort of like this, but you'll say, thank you for, we received your application for the summer program. This one is for the Summer Institute program. But if you're applying for, for aid for the summer travel study program, then it will say you submitted an application for the summer travel study program. And you should keep a record of this. So, you should get in the habit of keeping records of any correspondence with the financial aid office. Let's see. Okay. So you've done the FAFSA or DREAM application, and for those taking the summer travel study program or the global internships program, you've done that summer financial aid application. Now the next step is for the financial aid office to process your aid. Now sometimes, in addition to doing the FAFSA and the summer applications, sometimes we're required to get additional information from you. Like it could be the parents or the students' tax information, or we would need to verify, do a verification. Basically, that sometimes when you fill out the FAFSA, they say, and sometimes it's just random. They say, before you award this student, verify the information that they put on the FAFSA. So we'll ask for documents so that we can verify that the information you put on the FAFSA or the DREAM application is correct. So these are just examples of things we might ask for. The tax form, independent verification form, and that I don't mean that to say we're going to verify your dependency status. This is, if you're a dependent student, then you will request a dependent verification form. And the difference between the dependent verification form and the independent verification form is we'll need, for a dependent verification form, we'll need a parent signature on that. For an independent verification form, we don't need parent information on that form or a parent signature on it. Now, the way you can find out, and whether you're doing study abroad or not, this is something you should do anyway. On a monthly basis, you should go into My UCLA and look and see if there's any missing documentation. You'll log into My UCLA, then once you get in there, you're going to click on the Finance and Jobs tab, and then that'll take you to another page. And once you're in there, you want to click on Document Tracking. And that, once you get there, you can see if there's any additional documents that we need from you. Now, to make sure that, for the summer, to make sure that we're able to process you in a timely manner so that you'll get your aid, before the summer begins, we would like for you to have all your documents turned in prior to April 8th. You can still turn them in after the April 8th, and you'll still be awarded full financial aid. But the problem is, if you turn it in after April 8th, we cannot guarantee that you'll be awarded in time. We can't guarantee that, all your aid and all your financial, your awards will go through to pay for your Bruin bill in a timely manner. If you turn it in before April 8th, then that allows us enough time to process all, because again, we're not just processing you as a single student, we're processing, there's 40,000 students at UCLA, and about 25,000 are taking out financial aid. So we need time to process it. And we process aid in the order that it's turned in. So again, if you can get it in before April 8th, that would be the best. And then we can guarantee that, your award will be done and processed in a timely manner. Okay, the types of aid that are available for the summer, because there's a difference between the types of aid that we award and we're able to give you during the academic year. And by academic year, I mean the fall, winter, and spring quarters. For the summer, the only aid we have available are grants, which is the Pell Grant, if you're eligible for the Pell Grant, and university grant. The summer, we do not offer the Cal Grant. That's not awarded in the summer. The only time that is awarded and offered in the summer is if summer is your final term. Then if you still have remaining eligibility for a Cal Grant, then we can award you Cal Grant during the summer. But if it's not your final term, if you're not going to be returning for the fall quarter, if you are returning for the fall quarter, then you will not be eligible for the Cal Grant during the summer. And Pell Grant is based upon your EFC. When you do the FAFSA, they're going to give you a number called the EFC. EFC stands for Estimated Family Contribution, but that's a misnomer. It's not really the Estimated Family Contribution. It is an index number that the schools use to determine eligibility. And by that, what I mean is, if that EFC number is less than $5,400, then you're eligible for Pell Grant. If it's zero, then you'll get the max, Pell Grant. As that EFC number goes up, as it gets closer to the 5,400, then you're eligible for the lowest amount, and that would be $600 for the year, which equates out to $200 per quarter, and that's based upon full-time attendance. So in the university grant, I can tell you what we awarded this past summer. I don't know what the amounts are going to be for next summer. We haven't, we haven't been able to calculate that. But last summer, if you were taking a full-time load, which is 12 units, then, and if you were university grant eligible, then you got $4,000. And as I said, full-time is 12 units. The amount that the university grant you get is you have to be at least half-time and have to be taking 8 units to qualify for the university grant. So if you're half-time, then you would get, based upon last year, you would have gotten $2,000, which is half of the $4,000. If you were taking between 9 and 11 units, that's considered three-quarter time. And so if you were three-quarter time, then you received $3,000 in the university grant. But that's, not all students qualify for university grant. So if you have high, the university grant is for people with higher financial need. And again, financial need is determined by, and this is another reason why I'm saying that when it says estimated family contribution, it doesn't really mean that. It's an index number. If the second thing the EFC number is used for is that we take the cost of attendance, subtract the EFC number from that, and that lets us know what each individual's financial need is. So example, remember, the EFC is 5,000, the cost of attendance is 20,000, you subtract the 5,000 from the 20,000, and you get $15,000 of financial need. And then that qualifies you for need-based aid. During the summer, the other thing we offer are loans. I know people don't want to hear about that, but loans, that's a type of financial aid. And there's grants, scholarships, work study. But if you're going overseas, if you're in a study abroad program, you're not going to be able to utilize the work study. So we don't offer work study during the summer for the summer abroad programs. So the only thing would be either the Pell Grant and or university grant and loans. You know, we will, and I'll give you an example, but if let's say your summer travel study program is the cost of attendance, which is tuition, fees, books and supplies, room and board, all of that good stuff, you know, even transportation, let's say that is $10,000. You will be awarded, we will award you up to $10,000 in financial aid between grants, university grant, or loans. So we will award up to the full amount of the cost of attendance, but it may possibly include loans in order to be fully covered. Okay, this is an example. This is a more detailed example. John submitted the FAFSA on time by March the 2nd. John also submitted the summer travel summer financial aid application, and he did it by April 1st. So he's on time. His EFC is $4,500. He plans on attending the History Medieval Paris program, which is from June 20th through July 15th. Now, in this program, he's going to be enrolled in the required units for this particular program, which is only 8 units for this program. Now, remember I said the total cost for attendance for this program back then was $9,200. So EFC is $4,500. He's only going to be taking 8 units, and the total cost is $9,200. Okay, and we're breaking this down a little bit so you understand what that $9,200 is. The program fees are $5,500, and then there's additional expenses, which is of $3,700, which is personal expenses, airfare, books, meals, and a little bit spending money. And by spending money, we're talking about for personal items such as soaps, toiletry, that type of stuff. So that is what goes in to make up that cost of attendance of $9,200. Now, for this particular student with an EFC of $4,500, this is a couple of years ago, so I'm going to correct the numbers. He's taking 8 units. Remember, I said 8 units during the summer. Well, at any time, 8 units is half time. And because it's 8 units, he qualifies. He qualifies for a university grant. This past summer, his university grant would have been $2,000 because we were, awarding. If you were full time, you got $4,000. Because this program is only 8 units, last summer this student would have received $2,000 in a university grant. EFC is $4,500, plus the student is half-time, so he's getting his full eligibility would have been around close to $500. He's getting half of that in the summer. Now, this is a couple of years ago. The Pell Grant is a little bit higher, but it's still, to let you know, the Pell Grant, because the EFC is $4,500, then the amount of Pell Grant, remember I said if it was 0, you get full amount, but as the EFC goes up, the amount of Pell Grant that you're eligible to receive goes down. And then in order to meet, because as I said, we're going to award up to $9,200. So in order to, this student is going to get $2,000, well, in this case, it was $1,100 and $245. In order to fully cover this $9,200, we awarded this student also $7,855 in loans. So again, as I said earlier, between grants and loans, we're going to cover the full amount. Now, it's up to you, whether you're going to be fully covered is going to be up to you, because you're going to have to, if you decide you only want to accept grants, then in this case, if you only wanted to accept grants, then to help pay for your program, this person would have had $1,345 to help pay for it, and they would have to pay out of pocket for the rest of it. Okay, the summer financial aid notifications, also known as the FAN, that you'll also, it will be on My UCLA. That's where you'll find your financial aid notification. We're going to begin processing the awards in mid-May. And remember, that's why we wanted you to have all your documents turned in by the end of, I think it was April the 8th. We need you to have all your documents in so that, when we can go ahead and start, because some of the, we'll officially start awarding and processing mid-May. But if we can, because we're not going to wait until mid-May to start processing everybody, we're going to go ahead and start processing. But officially, we will, for the summer, we will be making sure that we're processing, by mid-May. And then the financial aid award notices, those won't go out until mid-May, somewhere between mid-May and early June. They'll still be going out after that, but it'll be, that's for those people that get everything turned in and their file is complete by April 8th, they can expect to receive a summer financial aid notification between mid-May and early June. Now, when you get your financial aid notification, make sure you read it over. Don't just go in and just sign and accept stuff. Read everything that's on there and follow all the instructions on there. Because if you accept if you're offered a loan and you're going to accept the loan, just accepting a loan by itself, that won't get you the loan. The grants, you accept that, and then once you accept that, then that will be put in place. But for the loans, especially if you're a first-time borrower, you have to make sure that you go to studentaid.gov and you need to complete a master promissory note for federal student loans, and then you also need to do a loan debt management session. And it's also called a loan entrance interview. So you would also, but they're both located at that same site, studentaid.gov. You'll access that when you'll get to that page, and then to access the master promissory note in the entrance counseling, you'll have to use your FSA user ID and password to get in there to complete that. But just accepting the loans on your financial aid notification will not be sufficient. You'll have to, for first-time borrowers, you have to also complete these two items. Now, if you're offered a Parent Plus loan, which is a loan that your parents will be taking out, and if you accept that on the financial aid notification, then the parents must all parents. It doesn't matter if they've had a plus loan previously. If you're accepting the Parent Plus loan, they have to go to studentaid.gov and they have to complete a parent loan application, which is a credit check. So it's also known as a plus loan application, Parent Plus loan application. So they will need to go to studentaid.gov to complete that parent loan application. If they have never taken out a Parent Plus loan before, then in addition to doing that Parent Plus loan application, they will also have to complete a master promissory note at that same site. Now, if this is not their first Plus loan, they've taken them out before, then they don't have to worry about doing the master promissory note again. The master promissory note for both the student and the parent, they're good for 10 years. So once you've done it, you shouldn't have to do it again for another 10 years. So again, but for the Plus loan, parents have to do the Plus application every year. So just because they did it last year, because some people think, well, I just did it last year, so I don't have to do it again. No, you do have to do it again for each academic year. Excuse me. Then another thing, some students want to wait to decide whether or not they're going to take out the loans. They want to see if they can make it, well, the loans have to be accepted prior to the end of the summer term. If you wait until after the summer term is over, then it's too late. We can't process that loan for you. And you also don't want to wait till the last day of the summer term because that's too late. That doesn't allow time enough for us, because what happens is you accept the loan, you have to also do the master promissory note in the debt management session or the Plus loan application. All that has to be done before the term is over. And then along with that, we being the financial aid office, we have to certify that loan. All this has to be done before the end of the term. And it can't be done the last day of the term, because by the time we send it to them, it's too late. They won't receive it until after the term is over. So at the very latest, we should allow 2 weeks before the end of the term to apply for a loan. If you wait after that, there's no guarantee that it's going to go through in time. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I can't guarantee. If you do it 2 weeks before, then we can, pretty much, if all, your the master promissory note, the Parent Plus loan application and all that's done, and that allows us time to also do our processing and get everything done in a timely manner so that it's done prior to the summer term ending. Now, there's also private loans. And sometimes the parents, you're offered a parent loan, and the parent decides they don't want the loan to be in their name, but they're willing to co-sign on a private loan and have it in your name. Or for independent students, they only have access to subsidized loan and unsubsidized loan. Independent students don't have access to the Plus loans. So, we would offer a private loan to the independent student. For most cases, now, private loans take a little bit longer. So you have to allow an extra 2 weeks for the processing of it. Because part of the reason why it takes so long, the private loans, we're going to offer it to you on the award notification, and you're going to accept it. But you have to go to the lender that you're planning on borrowing this from. And it could be Wells Fargo, Sallie Mae, there's SunTrust, Discover does private education loans. But you'll need to pick whatever private education loan lender you want to use, and you'll go to their website, and you need to complete an application through their website. Now, like Wells Fargo Bank, or if there's some bank that you want to take a price, most of them, practically all of them, don't go into the bank and try to fill it out. They'll just, put you over to the side, put you on a corner, put you at a desk at a computer, and have you log into their main office. So you might as well save the time and do it at home. Get on your computer and log on to their website and complete the application there. Because again, it's a central location. Each bank they don't do the private education loans individually. They do it from their main office. So you would have to do that online through their website. So, and again, you'll need to go through and figure out which private lender you want to use. Now, once you've applied and you've been approved, then the lender will notify office that they need us to verify your enrollment and verify the information on it. Also, you should also let us know, because sometimes some lenders just get in touch with us and we don't know if you really want the loan or not. So you should also contact us and let us know, hey, I've applied for a private loan from Discover, and it's going to be for $2,000, to cover my summer travel program. And then that way, that gives us a heads up to look for that to be coming. And also when we do see it, we know, we're expecting it, because again, we want to make sure that we don't want to certify a loan for you that you really don't want. So it's better for you to give us a heads up to let us know that you've applied for the loan, you've been approved, and what amount it is that you're looking to apply for. Now, all lenders will have like a 10-day holding period on funds before they can send the money to UCLA. So let's say we certify it, and normally it's like 10 days after we certify that loan, that's when they'll send the money to us. Now, there are some lenders that, it's only like a 5-day waiting period, but for the most part, most of them, they hold on to it. And it's like a grace period to make sure that that you recognize that it is a loan you're taking out and that you really do want the loan. That's part of it. And this is not something that the lenders initiated. This is something that the federal government initiated, because there were some lenders that were just forcing loans down the students, and they didn't have time to really decide if it's something they wanted to do. So the government stepped in and said there's got to be a holding period, so that the student will know, can think about it and say, yeah, this is what I really want to do. Because during that 10 days, you can just call up the lender and say, no, you know what, I've changed my mind, I don't want the loan. So that's really what the 10-day period is about. Now, I mentioned this earlier about doing summer travel, or doing, the global internship program, or, whatever. You're doing that program in session A, and then in session C, you're deciding that you want to take a class, through summer sessions in session C. And then, as remember I said, you're only going to get financial aid for one program. So, let's say we give you $10,000 to cover your program, your summer travel program, between your grants, your loans, and everything. $10,000. Well, to make the math better for my example, I'm going to say $5,000. So $5,000, is going to go through to pay your fees for the summer travel program. And let's say your summer travel program is only $3,000 for program fees. So $5,000 is going to go through, and in a normal situation, if you did, it would be cover that, the $5,000 would go through, it would pay off the $3,000, and then you would get $2,000 back to help pay for your travel or for whatever else you wanted to. But the way the Bruins system, the billing system works, it just looks at, you owe this much, Y amount, and X amount came in to pay that. It doesn't look and say this money can only be applied to the summer travel portion of the bill. It doesn't look and say that, it doesn't look and see that there's a bill for summer session C, which for the class you're taking, and there's also a bill for your summer travel program. It's just one bill. You have three, in that one bill, you have $3,000 of summer travel costs, and then you have $1,000 of summer session. So in reality, your bill is not just for $3,000; it's for $4,000. But you only have, but you have $5,000 coming in. That $5,000 goes into the Bruin bill. It pays, because the way the system is set up, money goes in, pays whatever you owe. It doesn't distinguish between that. It's, part of the bill is for summer session C, and part of it is for summer travel. It just sees you have a bill for $4,000, and it sees that $5,000 came in. It pays off the $4,000, and it's only going to give you back $1,000, even though that money is meant to be, to give you back $2,000 for your summer travel program. Now, the way around that is, what you need to do is you're going to enroll in summer travel. You're going to have to wait to apply to enroll in the summer session C classes until after you have gotten your refund. That way, you'll get your $2,000 refund that you're expecting, and then you'll be billed the $1,000 in this, the example I'm giving you. You would be billed the $1,000 for your summer session C class, and then you would pay that separately. Now, if you don't care, then, but if you're looking for that extra $2,000 to help pay for your summer travel program, then the only way that you can do that is you have to hold off enrolling in the summer session C class. Because otherwise, the way our billing system is set up, it's going to take that money and go ahead and pay off, it pays off anything you owe on the Bruin bill. It does not distinguish between what the various costs are for. Now, for the UCLA Study Abroad scholarships, which I didn't, include these when I told you the types of aid you can get in the summer. Another way to fund your study abroad program is to apply for scholarships, and you can do that through the IEO office, which is International Education Office. That's what IEO stands for. You would go to that website, www.ieo.ucla.edu/scholarships. And you go there to see what scholarships are available for those different programs: the travel study program, the UCEAP program, the UCLA Global Internships program, and there's also a UCLA Global Cities program. So you can go to that website to look and see what scholarships are available and how to apply for those scholarships. Now, there's also on this site other information about scholarships that are available, like departmental scholarships, donor scholarships, and outside scholarships. If I remember correctly, I believe that for like an example of a departmental scholarship, I think the French department has scholarships for students that are participating in study abroad programs, in France, if I remember correctly. But you can go to this site. Don't take my word for it. Go to the site and look, look and see what is available. Now, another way of helping to pay for your study abroad program is if you're eligible for veterans benefits. because they can be applied to most of the study abroad programs. Now, okay, the CalVet program definitely can cover study abroad programs. The Chapter 33 and Chapter 31, those can help to cover the UCLA study abroad programs, but the Chapter 33 and Chapter 31 may not be able to help cover the UCAP programs. And the reason being, the UCLA summer travel study programs, those are courses, they're UCLA courses taught by UCLA professors, but in another country, in a different location. Whereas the UCEAP study abroad programs, those are not UCLA courses, and they're not being taught by UCLA professors. They are programs that are offered and being taught by professors from that host school. Like if you're going to Oxford, those are Oxford classes taught by Oxford professors. And because of that, you may not qualify for the Chapter 33 or the Chapter 31. So, you would have to verify that with the UCLA veteran coordinator. He can tell you that, or they can tell you that for sure. But my understanding is the CalVet program will cover UCAP programs and the UCLA summer travel programs. But the Chapter 33 and the Chapter 31, I'm not too sure that they'll help cover the UCAP programs. They will cover the UCLA summer travel programs, but it's a gray area. So again, if you're planning on using Chapter 33 or Chapter 31 for UCEAP funds for programs, then you should verify that with the UCLA veteran coordinator. And you can reach him at vabenefit@registrar.ucla.edu. Okay, here's a couple frequently asked questions. Will summer aid affect the academic year? So if you attend summer school or any summer program, we're going to award you, we have to award your academic year first, and then we award the summer. And by that, what I mean is, like for loans, for your subsidized loan and your unsubsidized loan, we're going to award those to help cover your academic year. And if there's some of that, because a junior and a senior can get, a junior and senior dependent student can get up to $7,500 in student loans. If we only award you $5,000 during the academic year, that means you would have $2,500 of that loan eligibility for the summer. But we would first offer for the academic year, because we're trying to make sure that you're able to cover your costs during the academic year. So that's why we're going to offer that first. For grants, the grants you receive in the summer have no effect on your grants for the academic year. It's the loans that we offer in the academic year that can affect your summer loan eligibility, or the types of loans that you can get in the summer. Now you can petition, let's say we awarded all $7,500 during the academic year. Between your sub and unsubsidized loan, we award all the full. You can petition and say, I recognize that I'm going to be a little bit short, but I need $2,500 of my federal student loan eligibility. I need $2,500 of that for the summer. So can you reduce the academic year loans and award that $2,500 of student federal loans? Can you move it and award it under the summer? So you can petition to do that. Now, next is, will financial aid post to my Bruin bill? Excuse me, when will financial aid post to my Bruin bill? For those participating in the EAP, UC program, financial aid will not post to the Bruin bill. We'll send the financial aid to the UCEAP office, which is located in Goleta, California. We'll send that money up to them, and they will post that money to your UCEAP bill. So you will not, for those participating in the UCEAP program, your money will not be posted to the Bruin bill. It will be posted to your UCEAP bill. Now, for those participating in the summer travel study program or the global internships program, your money can't be posted to the Bruin bill more than 10 days prior to the beginning of your program. Let's say you're in a program that starts June 30. We can't put that money on your Bruin bill any earlier than June 20. You can't receive financial aid more than 10 days prior to the beginning of the term. Now, and that also works against you because let's say your program begins June the 18th. June the 15th is the earliest that we can, that's less than the 10 days, but if we give it to you more than 10 days, say instead of giving it to you on June the 8th, that's during the spring quarter. We can't award you money that's meant for the summer during the spring quarter. So there's two stipulations. It can't be more than 10 days, and it also can't be during the previous quarter. It has to be in between quarters at the earliest. If your program begins, July 15th, then the award would be July 5th, because that is 10 days, and it's also not during the spring quarter, the previous quarter. Does financial aid pay my airfare? I need to buy my ticket now. It's not going to help buy the ticket now, because again, that 10-day rule, you're not going to get the financial aid more than 10 days. And airfare is part of the cost of attendance, and it will help pay the airfare. It'll be a reimbursement, but that's only if you accept the full financial aid. Because remember, if you're only getting $5,000, if your cost of attendance is $10,000, which means that includes airfare, and you're only accepting $5,000 of grants, then more than likely you're not going to be reimbursed for the airfare because you're only getting $5,000. So, if you accept full financial aid, all this offered to you, then yeah, you will be reimbursed for the airfare. But you're not going to get it up front, and you're not going to get it, more than 10 days prior to the beginning of the term. When we're done with the PowerPoint, we can just, because there is a program out there through the IEO office that it's not their program, but they have literature on. There is a program that a way that you could possibly purchase the tickets in advance through there's a special program or system that can be done. We'll talk about that once the PowerPoint is done. But for the most part, you're going to have to purchase the ticket on your own, and then you'll get reimbursed if you accept 100% of the financial aid. Okay, what if I want to cancel the program? For the global internships, you can cancel, but if you cancel after 11:59 p.m. on February the 11th, then you're going to be responsible for the full program fee. If you cancel prior to that, then you're not responsible for for any, you won't be responsible for the program cost. But if you do decide to cancel from the program, two things. You need to contact the travel study office or the global internships, office, and you also need to let us know, the financial aid office. And also, just letting one of us know is not going to be sufficient. You need to let both of us know. Just letting the financial aid office know, that doesn't notify the travel study office. Because again, it's important, because there's a timing issue. So it's important that they know prior to 11:59 on, and that's 11:59. That's just before midnight. That's not 11:59. Before noon, but 11:59 before midnight. You need to notify the office, notify them by February the 11th. For the travel study program, you need to notify them. With them, it's after 5 p.m. on April the 6th, you're going to be responsible. So you don't have until 11:59 for the travel study. You have to do it prior to 5 p.m. on April 6th, 2022. If you do it after 5 p.m., then you're going to be responsible for the program fee. And again, if you decide to cancel, please contact both the International Education Office and the Financial Aid Office. Let both of us know. Now, can I know what my award letter will look like now? Can I get an estimate? No, it's going to be hard to give you an estimate. I can't give you any more of an estimate than what I just did because, as I said earlier, we don't even know what the amount of the grant, university grant, that we're going to be giving out next summer. I know what it was last year, but that's not going to do you any good next year. All I can tell you is, that we are going to award fully up to the cost of attendance. The amount of that's going to be grants versus loans, we can't really tell you. Because again, I don't even know how much university grant we're going to award. I have an idea what but it's not official yet, but I have an idea what the Pell Grant is going to be for next year. But again, we don't have that officially. And the other thing is most of you haven't done the FAFSA yet. So that's another reason why I wouldn't even be able to tell you what you're eligible for. So again, the answer is we don't really like to give up, estimates because people tend to want to hold us to that estimate, and there's no way to hold us to that estimate. We have no way. There's things that are unknown. Okay, now in order to contact us, and especially during, because we're on hybrid schedules, so coming to the office doesn't mean you're going to be able, because we're open, but like my schedule, I'm only on campus this month, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Next month, I'll only be on campus Monday and Tuesday. Like right now, I'm working from home. So I am working every day. Our office is open and we're working every day, but we're on hybrid schedules where some days we're working from the office and some days we're working from home. So the best way to contact us, the very best way, is through the message center. And what you can do is go to our website, which is financialaid.ucla.edu. You click on the Contact Us button, and that'll take you to another page. And on that page, you'll see a tab for the messaging center. Or you can use this QR code. But, the best way to contact us is through the message center. You'll send a message to us, and in the subject matter, put in summer travel study, EAP program, or put in what area it is that you're interested in. Or it could be global internships, or you could just put study abroad, and then send that, and those are routed to the counselors that actually handle and have knowledge of the summer travel program. Now, the other thing you can do, and you should do, is visit our website, which is financialaid.ucla.edu. And in our page, we have like tutorials for like how to read your financial aid notification. We have a tutorial for that. How to apply, how to apply for financial aid. There's all different types of tutorials there. So it would be good advice for you to go check out our website, and they're like 5-minute tutorials. So it's not like you have to sit down for an hour and listen to it. So it would be very advisable for you to take the time out to actually go to our website and look and see what the information that's available. And I'm backing up a little bit. For these scholarships, there's also another, for those of you, especially on campus and those that are in the dorms, you should go to Covell Commons and go to the UCLA Scholarship Resource Center. That's an excellent tool, an excellent resource to not only look for scholarships, but they also offer training of how to research scholarships, how to interview for scholarships, how to write essays for scholarships. I can't say enough, because a lot of schools don't have that, but you have it available to you. And especially for those of you that live in the dorm, it's right next to the dorms. You have to go past Covell Commons to go to your classes. So, make sure that you go there and check that out. Because again, it's an excellent tool. And for those of you, if you want to just look them up, it's scholarshipcenter.ucla.edu. Again, that's scholarshipcenter.ucla.edu. And I know I'm backtracking, but I meant to, that it's important. Whether you're doing study abroad or not, you should be, looking for additional scholarships. And that's an excellent tool to look for additional scholarships. Okay, so now we're going to go to the questions. So let me get out of there.
Okay. I can read the questions, Jan. So the first question is, can you please repeat what you said about not getting Cal Grant when fall quarter comes?
Okay, I wasn't saying you won't get. Okay, I wasn't saying you won't get it for the fall. What I'm saying is, if the summer is your final term, then we can award if you still have remaining eligibility for Cal Grant, we can give you Cal Grant during the summer. If summer is not your final term, if you're going to be returning for the fall, then we will probably not award you Cal Grant during the summer. We'll just go ahead and give it to you in the fall.
Okay. The next question is, will outside scholarships reduce loans before anything else?
Yes. Outside scholarships always, when we go in and let me qualify that. It depends. Because outside scholarships are need-based. So that means we have to reduce what we consider to be the worst need-based aid that you're being offered. Subsidized loan is a need-based loan. And so yes, we would reduce your subsidized loan first before reducing grant. But I have to give you an example of cases where we wouldn't be able to reduce the loan. Let's say your financial need is $10,000, $5,000. So you're only eligible for $5,000 of need-based aid. Outside scholarships are need. And let's say that you're getting $5,000 in grants from us. We would have to, in that case, in order to fit that scholarship in, we would have to reduce. Like if your scholarship is for $1,000, we would have to reduce the university grant first by $1,000, so that because you can't get more than $5,000 in need-based aid. Now, another example is, let's say your financial need is $1,000. You're getting $1,000 in the Pell Grant, and somebody gives you an outside scholarship for $1,000. In that case, because Pell Grant is an entitlement, we're not allowed to reduce the Pell Grant. So in that case, no, we wouldn't reduce the Pell Grant. So there's all different scenarios. So that it's not as simple an answer as I know you would like. You would like to hear that, no, we're going to reduce loans first. In that situation, no, we wouldn't reduce the loans first. We would have to, because as I said, if your financial need is only $1,000, and you're going to get $1,000 in the outside, if it were university grant for $1,000, we would cancel that university grant and we would put the scholarship in. So in that case, I know you don't want to hear that, but yeah, we would have to reduce the university grant. It's only, we would like to reduce the loan first, but reducing the loan first wouldn't have any effect on your need-based over award, because that's the reason why we're reducing, because you're receiving more money than first. Like I said, if you're only eligible for $5,000 of need-based aid, and then you get that extra $1,000, that means you now have $6,000 of need-based aid. So something has to be reduced. So it's going to be dependent upon what type of aid you have. I know that but that's the there are some cases if we can, we'll reduce the loan first.
Okay. Okay, so the next question. Next question is, what did you say was the highest EFT you can have to qualify for aid?
Okay, when I was talking about, I was saying $5,400 to qualify for the Pell Grant. You can, your EFT can be higher than that and still qualify for university grant. That, the Pell Grant itself has a limit. The Pell Grant is meant for low-income families and people with, a low EFT. So the Pell Grant, the EFT has to be below $5,400 to qualify for some Pell Grant. And again, the amount of the Pell Grant is based upon the lower the EFT, the more Pell Grants you're eligible for. But it is possible for the EFT to be above $5,400. It's possible for the EFT to be $10,000 and be eligible for the university grant. If it's $10,000, you won't be eligible for the Pell Grant, but it is possible to still be eligible for the. It is still possible to be eligible for the university grant. Okay.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so are we going to have a chance to review our financial aid offer before accepting to do the program, or would it be too late by then?
it'll be too late by then. You won't, yes, because the award notifications aren't going to go out until, like I said, mid-May. I mean, if your file is complete and you turned everything in long before the April 8th date, sometimes we can, now, because it depends, because it depends on when, like I said, right now, we have no idea how much university grant we're going to offer next year. I may not know that by April I believe it was April the 8th was the deadline. I may not know that, so I may not be able to tell, to answer that question. I more than likely I will know how much Pell Grant, but it depends, because if you haven't turned, if you still have documents that are outstanding, then definitely wouldn't be able to tell you what you're eligible for. But if your file is complete and we process it, I can give you a ballpark idea, but that, again, like, and I don't know when we're going to, because that's part of the reason why we have to wait until May to actually release the award notifications, because we have to allow time for us to find out, how much the university grant's going to be and how much the various costs are. We won't have the budgets finalized until around then. Yeah, again, the only thing I can really tell you is, we can tell you how much total aid you're going to be offered.
The next question is, so in other words, we must at least pay the price of our EFC through loans or on our own funding.
That's a yes, no, because there is a way. Okay. Let me see. Well, yeah, if you're not going to, yeah, because the I'm trying to think, because sometimes it's more than likely a yes answer, that and that's not to say, because that EFC that I'm telling you about, that's for a 9-month period. During the summer, it's prorated. So let me pick a number that's okay. Let's say the EFC is $9,000, and you're taking a summer program that's 2 months. Instead of that EFC being $9,000 for the summer, the EFC would be, for that summer period, it would be $2,000. Because we're not applying a $10,000 or $9,000 when you're only attending 2 months. So it ends up getting prorated. So let's say the cost of attendance for the program is $9,000. If that's a 2-month program, the cost of attendance is $9,000. The EFC for those 2 months would only be $2,000. So that means you would be eligible for $7,000 of need-based aid for that period. So again, when I'm saying, the EFC that you get from when you do the FAFSA and they say your EFC is $10,000, $5,000, whatever, that's based upon 9 months. That's based upon for fall, winter, spring. For the summer, you're not going 9 months. You're only going 2 months. So we have to prorate in order to determine financial aid for those 2 months. We have to prorate the EFC so that we can determine, we apply that prorated EFC against the program cost for that 2-month program. And that lets us know what the financial need is for that particular program. And that's why I was saying, if your EFC is $9,000, that's $9,000 for 9 months, but you're only in a 2-month program in the summer. So instead of it being $9,000 for the summer, it's only $2,000. So then we would subtract that $2,000 from that program's, if I'm saying that, it could be $10,000 or whatever the cost is of that summer program. We would subtract $2,000 from that, and that would tell us how much financial need you have. And then we would try to cover up, and then that enters that question where somebody said, if I get a scholarship, which would you reduce first?
Okay, so the last question, and I think you may have already talked a little bit about this, but is our EFC going to be divided into a smaller amount since we would only be talking about a summer period, not the whole year?
Right, and that's what I just said. Yeah, we will prorate the EFC to match the period that we're talking about. Because, so we even do that. If you're only going to be attending at UCLA for the fall and winter quarter, I'm just using this as an example. We wouldn't use that full 9-month EFC. We would prorate the EFC for 6 months. So during the summer, we're going to prorate it to whatever the program length is. If it's 1 month, then it would be, 1/9 of whatever the EFC is. If it's 2 months, then it's going to be 2/9, and so on and so on and so on. It just depends on how many months there are to the program, and then the EFC, because it wouldn't be fair to count the EFC for the whole year and apply it to just 2 months. So that's why we prorate it, and that's by federal law. We have to. That's not a UCLA policy. That's federal law. Now, are they? Because I know my answers may have created more questions. So if there's any more questions.
Yeah. So that's the last question. If you students, if you have any other questions, feel free to either contact the International Education Office at info@ieo.ucla.edu. I'll put that in the chat, or you can send a message to the Financial Aid Office in the Message Center. So yeah, feel free to send questions to us if you have any more. So basically, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you, Jen, for joining us and for the presentation. We thank you all for coming.
Okay.